Alright, hello everyone, I'll be doing a walkthrough for The Last Door, Chapter 3, The Four Witnesses today, and this whole entire first part obviously does not require a walkthrough, so I'll be skipping it. Alright, so you wake up in a random room and you're in a coffin. If you don't remember the end of the last game, the Gravekeeper ended up knocking you out and burying you alive, so you somehow managed to get out. And you're somewhere strange, you don't know, walking so slow. It's ridiculous. Alright, anyway, we'll skip this part because it's super annoying. Okay, so after you walk through all of that, you get to the end of the city and there's this man staring at you and runs away and locks this gate. So apparently you're in a slum in London. You go through the store and you drink this water. This gross, nasty, chemical-filled water. You start walking away and bam! You're unconscious. Alright, so you wake back up, it's nighttime. You start walking fast because it's apparently dangerous in this part of the city at night, and then you walk through the store over here, and there is a huge cutscene that I'm going to skip. So, Chapter 3, The Four Witnesses. So you walk into this main part of the city, and then you go up here, and you grab this lantern. Or lamp. Whatever. Alright, so you go back down here, and you go to the left, and go into this building. Super creepy building. For whatever reason, it's just empty, and there's meat everywhere. And you use these little candles to open this secret passage. Maybe you do. Alright. So you go in here, and there's this little container sitting on the floor. You pick it up, and then there's this over here that you'll use in a second. Just go back to the main part of the city. Okay, so this time you go right, and maybe you go right. Alright, my game stopped working for a second, so you go through this door right here, and you go down into the sewers, and you take this bottle and you fill it up with some of this watery oil. And you go back to where you got the bottle originally. Okay, so you take your oily water and you put it in this, and it separates the water from the oil. And then after that, you'll put it in the lamp you got, and bring the lamp up to where you first got it, and that's where you'll light it. Okay. So, there's this dude again, and you follow him, and he's in front of the store, and it was locked, and so somehow he opens it. And you follow him in there, because you are apparently insane. Alright, so there's this jacket right here, and there's a pair of gloves in the pocket that you use when you go upstairs. Alright, so you go in this first room right here, and there's this scary little girl in here, just standing by herself. And you talk to her, and she tells you she wants to play hide and seek. And there's this whole entire cutscene for the hide and seek, and I will be skipping that as well. But first you stand right here. Alright. Okay, so you get done with hide and seek, she's gone, there's this broken mask on the floor, and you pick it up, and there is a picture under it, and then there's this little note on the bed that you don't need to pick up, but it explains her relationship with her father, and it's very, very scary. Creepy stuff. Alright, so yeah, you use the gloves to get that doorknob out of the fire, and you use the doorknob on this door right here. You go in there, and there are some creepy noises coming from the bathtub. That's always a great thing. That's how I want to spend my Friday nights. Go into a house and hear some creepy sobbing. Follow it. Sounds like the best of ideas. Alright, so you grabbed a wig off that doll that was just sitting in the tub next to a recording of a man laughing or sobbing. Not weird at all. Okay, so this guy basically tells you he's lost his inspiration because she died, or the girl he loved died, and he tells you what happened to her, and then talks to you about the weird man, and he says he won't help you because words are traitors. So, there's this mannequin standing in front of the window, and he talks about how his inspiration used to stand in front of the window and she looks so beautiful. And that's why you use the wig and the mask, and there's also a dress, so she'll look like that girl that's in the painting in the corner. So, to fix the mask, you take this little rolled up paper, you go out into a hallway, and go upstairs using this ladder over here. And you take the rolled up paper, and you blow this feather out of the cage. And also while you're up here, you come play the piano, and for some reason one of the notes isn't working, so you look under the key, and there's the key. Alright, so then you go downstairs. Okay, so you open this door, you go outside, and there's this path that's leading to the mausoleum where that girl is. And you take this feather and get some resin off this tree, and use it to patch the mask back together. And then you go up to the first room and use the small key to open the wardrobe. So you open it, and there's the dress. And you go back into the last room. Okay, so you're next to the mannequin, and you put the dress on her, and the mask. And this crazy ass thinks it's her, and he gives you the violin, and he tells you to put it next to her heart in her coffin. So you go down to the mausoleum. So they give you the mausoleum key, you use that here, and go inside. You're supposed to put the violin next to her heart, but her coffin is gone, and someone dragged it outside through a little hole in the wall. You go up to this building, it's locked. You start walking away, and someone knocks on the inside of the door. You go up and look through the keyhole, but nothing happens the first time, so you start walking away again, and someone knocks. You go back up, and there's a creepy little eyeball. Yeah. And naturally, when you see a creepy eye through a keyhole, you want to go inside. Okay, so that note right there says what happened to the girl. She apparently was turned into a tree. And there's just this guy reading in the dark. You talk to him, and you ask him about the creepy man. And he tells you he's been in here plenty of times looking at books, and you ask him which books he uses. And he tells you which one, and that it must be nearby, and you go into the next room, and it's sitting on the floor. Again, this book isn't really necessary for the walkthrough, but it is right over here. And it tells you some story. I'm not entirely sure why it's necessary to the game, but it's there. Anyway, so you come over here, and there's this random tree growing in the middle of the building, and her coffin is on either side of it. Then you go downstairs, and you walk over to this next little door, and the girl singing that you heard gets louder, and if you go to the left, it says do not fall asleep. And there's some random clothes laying on the ground with holes in them. Alright, so there's a crack in the middle of this tree, and you put the violin in there. And then after, you'll go back upstairs, and you'll see the tree has grown more. And then you go back into the main part of the city, and a tree has broken out of the window. Okay, so you're back on the main street, and if you had looked at the tree before it grew, there was a piece of paper that was stuck on one of the branches, and now it is outside the window. There's a strange poem, and this poem is essential for guiding you through the fog so you don't get lost. You follow him, and he goes out into the fog. And I won't show how you actually get in the fog, I'll just explain how to get to the end. So, you use this poem right here, and you have to have your sound on for this. You have to listen for the wind, and then you go through that doorway, and then the birds, and then the sea, and then the silence. For each one of these you'll go through the doorway, and then at the silence you'll be at the end. Okay, so you get to the end of the fog, and you follow the man, and he asks for your ticket, and you're outside of a large, classic-looking theater. And this is very close to the end of the game. Now you're inside, and you walk down this really long hallway. Okay, so you get to the end of the hallway, and you come into this room, and there's a stage. You walk down towards it, and there's a man waiting for you. And there's this whole entire scene, tells you who he is, and asks you why you joined the group, and it was true philosophy. And then there's this cutscene after he explains why you actually survived being buried alive. And there are all these different people wearing masks. And then he gives you one. And that is the end of the game. So there's this whole note explaining what happened from the earlier cutscene, where he says he thinks something bad happened to you. Alright, so that is the end of the walkthrough. And here is the rest of it, saying the adventure continues in Chapter 3. Hooray! Okay, so I also have a gaming blog, which is on DedL33 Gamers, and I will post a link for it below. Basically, if you go to our site and go up to blogs, I am a DedL33 Iris. And right now I don't have a lot of posts, but I'm working on it. So far I've posted about the game Neverwinter, and I will be adding my walkthroughs for these set of games later. And basically that's it. Yeah, I'll have a link up for my blog below, and thank you for watching this walkthrough. I hope it was helpful. Alright. Goodbye.